I just found out, I went to the bathroom and I got a text message that said that today is Teddy Roosevelt's birthday. So, happy birthday, Teddy. Hi. Dahmer is the cinematographer of the film. And Dave did a lot of the songs for the movie, and we happened to date when I was in Austin, and the movie is loosely based on him. But not really, because he's way cooler and still does music.
Awesome, guys. Thank you for coming down. I guess kind of we'll start right there. You went to UT and then spent a few years in Austin acting. How much of this story was based on true events, and especially with him being down here too?
What do you think, Dave?
Well, the cat lived.
Yeah, we have it. Okay, so and I would say that everything in this movie has happened to me in some sense, but it's all completely fictionalized. So I did move to LA. I have a cat. His name's Mr. Feeney. And when I moved to LA, I left him with Dave, and he got really sick, and I had to come back, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm a monster. I'm so self-centered. So it's loosely based on it, but I also did what was important for a story in a movie, and hopefully made it more exciting than what happened.
Yeah, because what happened to us was totally boring.
Yeah, it's really boring.
What inspired you to tell this story?
I did start off with the character of Emily. I thought I wanted to make, she kind of just reminds me of everybody that I know that's my age, that's, you know, they do what they're supposed to do, they go to college, they get their degree, and then they're like, now my time, and then everybody's like, fuck you. and then you kind of have to just like recalibrate and realize you're not the center of the universe, and I think that that's a funny thing. Like, I don't, so I wanted to sort of show her journey, and I wanted to do it in such a way that it wasn't so like self-aggrandizing, and so I tried to make it as absurd as possible anywhere I could.
Very cool. Dave, right?
Yeah.
What was the creative process for you? Did you get to see any of the film beforehand, or?
I had read the script a few times, and I knew what Noel had asked for certain things, and we had met about it a couple of times, so I had come up with a couple ideas, showed it to Noel, and then we met up and made adjustments from there, and then she said, cool, and then we used it. So.
I'm pretty easygoing. Yeah. So Dave did songs, like he did the song that Eric performed, and also the song that Jen plays, that he like wrote those songs for the movie, yeah.
Well, like I said, it was really cool that you did shoot this on film, and maybe you can also speak to this too. Like, what was that process? Did you have any experience with print before this film?
Yeah, I came up shooting on film, and when I talked with Noelle, she's actually an amazing photographer herself, and the photos you see in the opening credits sequence are all Noelle's photos. And we were talking about it, and we were like, we really want to shoot on 16 millimeter and get that texture and that feeling that's missing from a lot of the capture mediums that we have today. And we both loved it, and it definitely made the shoot more challenging when you're working on a budget, but I really think that it paid off, and it has its own look, and it feels different than other things do.
Yeah, when I started working with Nora, she sent me all these photos that she had pulled that I thought were just pictures from people that she liked. She was like, oh, these kind of remind me of your film. And I was like, I love these photographs. Who took them? And she's like, I did. And then I was like, okay, we got to figure this out. I was like, how do we convince everybody that we're going to shoot on film now? So she really was like, I think you need to do it, because it wasn't like from the beginning we didn't know that it was going to happen, but it was definitely something we really hoped to do.
And Kodak was very generous with their support, as was Ari, which helped a lot. And it was really fun getting the crew to get back in the mindset of like, every take is really important. Like, you only have this much film left today, and you better make that take count. It's not just roll it again, you know.
So by the like second to last day, we were like in a great rhythm. And everything was great. And I was like, all right, bye.
How long was the shoot?
I think it was 22 days. Okay. So we did 20 days in Austin and 2 days in LA.
And what did you like take away from this, writing, directing, and starring? Like, what were struggles that you had, learning experiences that you had?
My biggest struggle was, well, I went into it thinking that I knew what I was doing, and then I kind of got tested along the way. I was like, maybe I don't know what I was doing, but by the end I was like, no, I know what I'm doing. So I think by the end I just learned to control lights and just do whatever. I just learned, like, when I knew what I wanted, that was what I wanted to do. I think, and not like against anybody, but people ask you a lot of questions, and I thought they were asking me questions because they were like, you're doing it wrong. But people were just asking questions because they wanted to do a good job. And I would just be like, why are you asking? Do you know something I don't know?
Can I say it was really beautiful watching you work on set, because Emily is such a crazy, high energy character who's like all over, and then you have to like have this quiet focus and like lead the whole crew too. So you doing a take and then come back and be yourself, and it was really cool to see those two.
Aww. My favorite thing is whenever I would be like I would be thinking, and she would be like, are you okay? And I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm just acting in my head. I'm just like thinking about the next scene. She's like, oh, okay. But she was always like, are you okay? She was always like looking out for me.
Well, I've actually known Noël for years, and it's just been exciting seeing your career just take off, and you've done so many different amazing things. And I know there's a lot of actors and a lot of film people in the audience, so I also would love to hear what advice do you have for fellow actors and people pursuing this industry? I know you worked hard, and it's been really cool seeing that pay off. So, but what advice would you have for everyone?
My advice is that really, it's okay to start like smaller. You know, you see a film, but I've been making things for a long time, and I've been working with people for a long time to make those things. So just, it's okay to start small, and it's also cool to work with your friends, and there's an energy that happens when you support people that are maybe not at the top, but you guys can kind of rise up together. And that was a big goal with the movie, and like anything I want to do later on is I want to work with people that like get it and like want to support each other. And I'm not really out to be better than anybody. I just want everything. I don't know. I just want everybody to like have an opportunity to shine. Yeah.
It's like your opening monologue.
Yeah.
I do want to definitely open this up for our audience, so I'm going to ask them one more question, but if you have a question, we'll just have you raise your hand and we'll get to you. But for all three of you, what other projects do you have that you're working on, that were coming out, that we can look out for?
Well, I've been working with Noël on some music stuff that we're doing called The Marys. We're playing tomorrow in San Antonio. And then I have a solo album coming out sometime in the spring under the name David Thomas Jones. And that's pretty much it. That's what I'm doing. What are you doing?
I just finished color grading our second season of HBO's High Maintenance. If you guys know that show, I also shoot that show, which will be in January, so if you tune in.
And I mean, I'm doing The Marys, but outside of that, I don't know, I'm still kind of working on this film. It never stops. You just keep going. But it'll be on Netflix December 26th, which is really exciting. It's really exciting to get that part. But in the interim, it's going to be in theaters throughout the country. And so it's really, this is an indie film. This is basically happening because we've like really put everything behind it. So if you like the movie, tell your friends. Post on Facebook, do the tweets. And I know it's stupid, but please just help out. It'll be here in Austin for the next week, and it'd be really great if we got more people to come out. And then outside of that, yeah, it'll just be
LA, New York next weekend.
Yeah, it'll be in LA, and then it'll have like a week run in LA November 17th, and then it'll go to New York, and then we'll have like more screenings through December, so it'll be exciting.
Yeah, so tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
All right, do we have questions? All right, right here.
What makes Austin a special place to shoot?
First of all, it looks really great on film. It's a green city. It's beautiful. It's actually a really beautiful place, but you don't see it all the time. I think it's a character in and of itself. The people are characters. The city is a character. It has just so much personality. And what about you? What do you think?
I thought it was really welcoming, and everyone had so much energy and excitement about making the movie. Like sometimes when you're making stuff in other cities, they're like kind of over it, and here everyone was like really excited to be part of the process and make an piece of art together.
All right, anyone else? Yeah.
I first want to say I loved the movie. I saw it at South by Southwest, and I just had to come back and see it again. It was so good.
Thank you so much. I really liked all the scenes with Art, Andre Hyland, who, you know, he plays sort of this like jerky Austin dude, but he's also so lovable. I don't know, I really love Art. I love Andre. He's such a funny actor and he improvises a lot. So many of the scenes would be scripted loosely, but then he would just sort of do his own thing and I would just roll with it. And I just really liked how all those scenes came out. And the sex scene was really funny. Like, we only had one goal, or we had two goals, which was that he was gonna bite my butt, and then when he was done, he was gonna say, "That's it." So everything in between was improvised between us. Just my favorite is him just falling off the bed. I was like, I still got a boner.
And I love when he asked if you had braces. I was like operating, like, oh no, I'm gonna start laughing and mess this tape up.
Also, I was so sick when we filmed that, so every time he said something funny, I would cough, laugh, and then couldn't stop. I was just like, so I barely could speak because I was just like rolling around laughing my head off.
Well, I thought the cast was stellar. Like,
you're right, amazing. The cast is the best. Yeah.
How much direction did you have to give them, or did they kind of develop their characters on their own and you were just like, awesome, good, go for it?
I think what they say is like directing is 90% casting. I think is true because you don't have a ton of time to like, especially with an indie film and as fast as it's going and we're shooting on film, you don't have time to be like to hold somebody's hand and be like, okay, like, how are you feeling today? It's just like, hey, do it. So a lot of it was, it was them. And then every once in a while, Delmar would just keep the camera rolling and capture something that was spontaneous and accidental. Like, I wouldn't have been able to plan for it. So we would just keep filming and then somebody would do something and we're like, cool, that's going in the movie.
But you did really good work with them too.
Thanks, yeah.
All right, more questions.
Yes, the slashing of the face, did that happen in real life?
Yes. Yes, we had to wait until the very end and I think we only could do it twice. A lot of takes in this movie, we only got a couple of shots doing it, so, but yeah, that happened. It was great. And then that night, we shot that in just scenes in the bathroom overnight, and then that night, and those entire scenes that we shot on film, when we tried to take it out of the camera, the film unspooled. And
it was our one problem roll, and they couldn't get it out, and it became a giant spaghetti mess inside the changing tent. And we like sealed the bathroom off so no light could come in, and we had everybody in there trying to work. And eventually, we had to package it up super light tight and send it to the lab as a big spiral.
And a lot of it was scratched. It was scratched, and we couldn't use it. So that's
luckily the good parts.
Literally, I remember being like thinking there were like takes that were the best, and they were all destroyed. But then not destroyed, but just like not really usable. And then when it came to it, was like actually those were overacted. And by the way, I was like, those were my performance. Like I got to do my performance. And then when I watched it all scratched up, I was like, oh, these suck. Thank God they got scratched. Imagine if I tried to fight for these. Yeah.
Anyone else? I'm sorry, I can't see very well. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So the movie was fucking awesome.
Hey, thanks, sir.
Can we quote you on that?
Yeah, can we quote you?
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Or could you quote yourself so I don't have to do any more tweeting?
But my question is, so you've been working in the entertainment industry for a bit. Like, is there a portion of the industry that you worked with making this movie that you had never worked with before?
Oh, that's a great question. I had never worked in sound design or like the soundtrack part of it. So we had a score that was done by Ryan Miller, who's the creator of the band Guster. And he did all the music for it, but I went to Vermont and like worked with him a little bit, and it was just like in a house and they had all these instruments, and I was like, like a circus, and then we would like hit things, and I'm like, cool, that sounds good. And so he did that. And then for sound design, I had done my own things before, but I had never worked with somebody else. And we had Eric Friend, who's located in Austin, and the cool thing is he had like recorded a lot of Austin ambiance on his own. So he's like, you want birds? I got birds. He was like, Austin traffic, I got it. So it was cool, like just to be like, oh, this is a passion. Like this is another element that somebody cares a lot about that you take for granted. But if you listen, and now I do listen to it, but it's like really cool to be like, that's Eric's track.
Anyone else? Yes, in the middle.
With Celeste's character, how hard is it to walk the line of her being like wanting to do a genuine nice thing, and also, I mean, kind of in your character's perception, overstepping a little bit of bounds? Like, how hard is it to walk that line with that character?
Well, Britt Lauer's not here. She's just an incredible actress, and so I know that talking to her, it was always like, well, she's just doing what she thinks the character would do, and always coming from a genuine place. Like, nobody walks around thinking they're the villain of anybody's story. They all think that they're completely in the right. And so I think as long as, it's written in a way to make you think that she's, like, overbearing and terrible. But I think as long as she never played it that way, and she always just played it, like, authentically, it toes that line. So there were times that I wanted her to be a bit bigger, and Britt would be like, she would just ignore me. And then there were times that I was like, no, you really have to be like weirder with this. Like that whole bedroom scene, it was just like, just be as weird. Because it's kind of from Emily's point of view at that point, and Emily thinks she's like Rosemary's babying her or something. So she's gotta, like, even if Britt doesn't think the character would do that, it's just gotta be creepy.
Yeah, Britt talked about that at South by, and when she said she saw the film, she was like, oh, I'm such a villain. She like had no idea, she was just directed to do this character, but yeah.
You just never play anything. You never, the comedy, if you want it to feel real, you never have people playing anything for laughs or doing anything bigger than what would actually be happening. And I think I think it translates very well in the film.
Yeah. Anyone else? Yes.
So the pasta and the tub thing was super perfect. Was that what you were always going to go with, or did you have any other ideas for that? Like, how'd you come up with it?
I came up with it because when I first moved to LA, I shot a video with my friend Molly Green called Sequence 4, where I was pouring food on my... Did somebody woo that? Sequence 4! We were doing like these comedy... We were calling them comedy art, where we were just shooting things because we were bored and miserable. And we thought if we put them online, we like got to express ourselves. And I was pouring food on my head in the shower to Britney Spears' Toxic. And I remember we shot it to where it looked like I was topless. And when we posted it, we were like, 100 dumb dudes are gonna see this and think I'm topless, and then they're gonna click and see I'm pouring meat on my head. Joke's on them. And then within 24 hours, the joke was on me because the video had over 1 million views. And I thought, I was like, oh, my career's over, nobody will ever take me seriously. So it was loosely based on that, but I think I have more of a sense of humor than Emily did about it. Like, I was just like, yeah, I have a viral video that has 10 million views worth. I think it is 10 million views, it's ridiculous. And people are like, the comments on it, I think this is the real thing that we learned was that we thought we were gonna trick a couple people into clicking and then being like, ew, food. But we just found like a whole level of perversion of humans where people are like, what is she pouring in her head? I'm so turned on.
Yeah, Noelle's huge in Eastern Europe. I don't know if you knew this, but yeah, she can't visit there anymore.
By the way, we just screened the movie in Poland and they didn't react to most of the movie, but the only joke they laughed in is when we said that mostly by perverts in the Ukraine. Polish people were like, yeah! Fuck Ukrainians! It was really funny.
Anyone else? I'm sorry, there's a lot. I'm sorry, there's two right here in the middle, then we'll go to the back.
Oh, I did see that. Why did you choose Poland? I saw that you were like, it was like Austin, San Antonio.
Oh, well, the Poland was it was a film festival, so it got accepted, and we're doing some more film festivals through the next month, and so it'll crop up at film festivals, and then other places people have to pay.
Way in the back.
Great question. When I was like 22, I went to a clothing swap, and if you don't know what that is, it's like women get together and bring their clothes and put it in a pile, and then you take clothes from other girls. And I found that jersey, and I was still in college, and I was like, oh, this is great. If I ever make a feature film, I'll put it in it. So that's it.
We have time for a couple more if you guys got questions. Oh, right here in the middle, yeah.
Yes, I'm curious, when did
I think she was always gonna play music of some kind. So we were auditioning girls across Texas, like just put out casting calls. By the way, Vicki Boone casted the film in Austin, so she's really great. She put out all these casting calls, and we got all these women that really played music. And then Daniela Pineda, she was always sort of a front runner, and then she's like, oh, I play drums. And then we were like, oh, okay. And then we sent her to Dave, and he wrote a song as her as like a drum player, and she sang on that track.
I thought it was originally that she was going to be the bass player, because when I did the song, I was trying to make the bass all flashy.
I'm
and then
sure.
It got switched around.
It got switched around.
Drums, and it was
you
like,
roll with it.
Well, yeah, we met up, and she'd be like, I play drums, and like I've got a drum teacher, so we would like practiced a few times, then we did the shot, and she played drums.
So it's you roll with it. It was like we just needed somebody that had. What I didn't want was it to look like she was a beautiful girl that was like faking it. We just like we're really excited to have like a cool person actually who is talented at something that
We could do one more if anyone has one.
No.
Yes, one more.
Hi Noel, your movie's fucking amazing. I'm glad you be a part of it.
Wait, who's saying this?
It's Natalie.
Oh, hey Natalie. Hi. We used to work together at Esther's Follies.
Okay, so my question is, because you collaborate with a lot of people to make a film, obviously your first one, like percentage-wise, how much of this was Noelle hustling on her own versus collaborating with other people?
That's a dangerous question.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I mean, I would say so much of it, you can't make a movie without everybody else like doing. It takes so many people to make a movie. I feel like sometimes I felt like I was a girl alone in my apartment just sending angry emails. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be able to figure that out. I mean, I did write it, which is a big part, but so many things, like I thought I knew what the movie was gonna be, and then somebody would come in and like sort of inform a different, something different. So even if it was just like somebody suggesting something and it was one thing, it like can completely change the course of the film. So I wouldn't, I think there's a lot of magic that happens in a film that it's just not me. Yeah. In fact, I'm so sick of myself. I'm fucking tired of talking about me and this movie about me. Like, talk to anybody else about it. Like, it's so much cooler.
Well, that's good timing then, because we're done.
Yes,
yeah. Hey guys, let's give them three a round of applause, please. Thank you guys so much. Just like Noelle said, this is an independent film, so it really does take you guys talking about the film, tell your friends, encourage people to go see it. Again, Netflix in December, so yeah.
But don't tell people that, then they're not going to want to leave their houses. Just be like, no, we don't know when it'll come out. You got to see it now.
Netflix is pulling it. You're going to have to see it.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you for Kevin, our projectionist, for showing this film, and Brendan working hard up there. Thank you for our wait staff, and thank you guys for coming in today. And have fun. Have a good night. Thank you.